Colonizers thought they could rebrand native identity with Bibles and bad haircuts. Turtle Island's tribes? Not impressed. Mitaku Oyasin didn't vibe with Europe's convert or conquer playlist. By the 1700s, praying towns turned kin into strangers. It's colonialism's flop era, but natives kept the beat. Before 1492, Turtle Island thrived as a mosaic of hundreds of native nations, each with distinct languages, rituals, and cuisines. The Lakota hunted buffalo, the Wampanoag fished coastal waters, and the Navajo wove stories into blankets. Mitaku Oyasin, all my relations tied every living thing into a sacred family, not a resource to exploit. Then, Europeans crashed the party, thinking they'd discovered a blank canvas. Their first pitch? Convert or conquer. It was like trying to sell Wi-Fi to people already connected to the earth. By the 1600s, colonizers like John Eliot, a Puritan with a savior complex, learned Algonquian not to chat but to preach. His praying towns forced native converts to ditch their braids, kin, and customs for stiff collars and sermons. Families split, tribes fractured, and cultural roots got tangled in colonial red tape. It was less a conversion than a cultural eviction notice. The fallout was brutal. Native identity, once fluid and communal, faced a European obsession with control. Eliot's towns didn't just preach, they policed. Converts were ostracized by their own, while non-converts faced suspicion or worse. It's like being stuck in a group chat where everyone's arguing over who's authentic. By the 1700s, these disruptions left scars, but native nations clung to their core, like a song you can't unhear, no matter how loud the invaders screamed. Fast forward to the 1870s, and the US government upped the ante on erasing native identity. Enter boarding schools, state-sponsored culture shredders. Thousands of native kids were ripped from their families, forbidden to speak their languages or use their birth names. Schools like Carlisle Indian Industrial School didn't educate, they reprogrammed. Kids were handed English names like John Smith and told their heritage was a glitch to be fixed. It's like swapping a sacred drum for a kazoo and calling it progress. By the 1900s, hundreds of native languages from Cherokee to Cheyenne were fading, each one a thread in the cultural tapestry, snipped. The impact was a slow-motion gut punch. Language isn't just words, it's the heartbeat of identity. When kids lost their tongue, they lost stories, prayers, and the ability to whisper Mitaku Oyasin to the wind. Families became strangers across generations, as elders spoke words their grandkids couldn't fake. The government's plan worked, sort of. By the 20th century, many native communities were shadows of their former selves. But the roots? Still there, buried under decades of policy dirt, waiting for a chance to grow. In the 1990s, Jessie Little Doe Baird, a Mashpee Wampanoag member, started having dreams where familiar figures spoke in a tongue she couldn't grasp. Driving through Massachusetts, she spotted road signs echoing those sounds, realizing it was Wampanoag, her people's ancient language. A prophecy from the Pilgrim era foretold its loss and return, aided by descendants of those who caused it. The language had gone silent since the late 1800s, a casualty of centuries of suppression. Baird took it as a sign, partnering with Mashpee and Aquinnah tribes to launch a revival project. It's like the universe dropping a forgotten app update for a culture on the brink. At MIT, pursuing a linguistics master's, Baird found a mentor in a native language expert who happened to descend from Rhode Island's white founder, fulfilling the prophecy's twist. To resurrect Wampanoag, she cross-referenced John Eliot's Bible translation in a related Algonquian dialect with archived documents from the same family. Piecing together fragments, she compiled a 10,000-word dictionary, taught classes, and raised her daughter as the first native speaker in 7 generations. The irony? Colonial tools like that Bible, meant to erase, became the blueprint for revival. Now, Wampanoag echoes in homes again, a quiet rebellion against history's delete button. This effort highlights how native identity clings to language as a lifeline. Losing it in boarding schools severed connections, but reclaiming it rebuilds them. Baird's work isn't just academic, it's a family reunion across time. Modern tech aids the process, like apps for vocabulary drills, turning smartphones into cultural time machines. Yet the core remains ancient, words carrying stories of Turtle Island, Mitaku Oyasin, and resilience. Wampanoag's return proves erasure isn't permanent, just paused, waiting for someone to hit play. Colonization flipped how tribes defined membership. Pre-contact, it was about descent, adoption, or marriage, welcoming kin without paperwork. Europeans imposed rigid standards. turning fluid communities into bureaucratic checklists. Today, each tribe sets its own rules, a nod to sovereignty amid federal oversight. The Cherokee, for instance, rely on the Dawes rolls, late 19th century government lists cataloging members of 5 tribes. These rolls were flawed. Many skipped registration, fearing reprisals, and they forced single tribe affiliation despite mixed heritages. To join the Cherokee Nation now, you need a direct ancestor on that list. It's like Ancestry.com, but with higher stakes and no free trial. Blood quantum emerged as another metric, requiring a fraction of tribal ancestry for enrollment. It varies. Turtle Mountain Chippewa accepts 1/4 Indian blood from any tribe, while Navajo demands 1/4 Navajo specifically. About 70% of federally recognized tribes use it, but it's contentious. Born from Dawes-era classifications labeling natives as full blood or mixed, it aimed to dilute eligibility over generations, freeing the U.S. from treaty obligations. Think of it as a genetic Ponzi scheme, where intermarriage erodes status until no one's left to claim the land. Critics argue blood quantum is a colonial relic, reducing identity to math problems that deem descendants not native enough. A child of enrolled parents might miss the threshold, losing scholarships, healthcare, and belonging. It's satirical. Governments that stole land now gatekeep who's real enough to get scraps back. As membership shrinks, tribes risk fading, their continuity threatened by fading fractions. Yet some defend it, seeing it as proof of lineage in a world questioning authenticity, preserving tight-knit communities against dilution. On the flip side, blood quantum supporters view it as a shield, verifying ties in an era of pretenders. Without it, tribes might swell with distant claimants, straining resources. The debate underscores sovereignty. Tribes decide, some ditching quantum for lineal descent, like the St. Croix Chippewas' 223 vote to drop it. If parents are members, kids are too, no fractions needed. This shift echoes pre-colonial ways, but with modern twists like DNA tests, which can't confirm tribal ties anyway. Markers suggest native ancestry, but no gene screams Navajo. It's like expecting a blood test to reveal your favorite color. These criteria ripple through identity. Federally recognized tribes, numbering 574, access benefits others don't. Unrecognized groups like Winnemem Wintu struggle without legal protections for sacred sites or rituals. Membership isn't just a card, it's access to culture, community, and survival. The government's CDIB certifies blood degree for services, but it can't quantify spirit. In this system, native identity navigates colonial leftovers, blending tradition with red tape, all while tribes persist. Tribal sovereignty lets each nation define membership, but federal strings pull tight. Some tribes ditch blood quantum for lineal descent, echoing pre-colonial ways. The St. Croix Chippewa voted in 223 to scrap it, opening doors if parents are enrolled. DNA tests promise answers but deliver shrugs. They spot native markers, yet no gene tags you as Cherokee or Hopi. Not all natives carry those markers anyway. Identity ties to enrollment sometimes, but not always. Federally recognized tribes number 574, cherry-picked by the government for benefits like health services or land rights. It's like a VIP list where uninvited guests watch from outside, their ancient claims ignored. Unrecognized tribes face steeper climbs. Groups like Winnemem Wintu battle without legal shields for sacred sites or rituals, developers eyeing their lands unchecked. The CDIB card certifies blood degree for perks, but it's paperwork over spirit. This setup warps cultural identity. Without recognition, legitimacy crumbles in outsiders' eyes, even for millennia-old nations. It's satirical. Colonizers who redrew maps now decide who's real. Yet tribes persist, blending sovereignty with survival, their stories defying federal checkboxes. Contemporary native identity isn't monolithic. Enrollment brings belonging and resources, but exclusion breeds isolation. Federal picks favor some, leaving others to prove existence in courts. This divide echoes colonial fractures, yet communities adapt, using sovereignty to rewrite rules. Blood quantum lingers for many, a double-edged tool preserving ties amid dilution fears. DNA hype sells ancestry kits, but tribes laugh. Belonging isn't in saliva. It's in stories, lands, and kin, elements federal lists can't quantify. If one word captures native identity, it's persistence. From first colonial boots on Turtle Island, efforts aim to dismantle cultures, banning languages, seizing lands, imposing faiths, praying towns, boarding schools, Dawes rolls, all tools to erode. Yet natives endured, reclaiming fragments like Wampanoag words or sovereignty votes. It's like a forest fire scorching the canopy, but roots push through ash, sprouting anew. Future generations inherit this grit, blending traditions with modern fights for rights and recognition. Persistence fuels revivals. Languages rise from archives. Tribes drop colonial metrics. Unrecognized nations lobby for status. Challenges loom. Shrinking memberships, land threats, cultural appropriation. But history shows adaptability. Mitaku Oyasin binds communities, turning survival into thriving. Darkly, it's ironic. Attempts to erase birthed unbreakable resolve. As climates shift and policies evolve, natives lead in stewardship, their persistence a blueprint for resilience. This theme threads through eras, from pre-1492 diversity to today's sovereignty battles. Colonizers bet on fade-out, but natives bet on forever. Future holds uncertainties, yet persistence promises continuity. Tribes navigate federal mazes, cultural revivals, and global spotlights, their identity evolving without breaking. It's not triumph or tragedy, it's ongoing, like Turtle Island itself, enduring waves of change. Colonizers redefined native identity with borders and bloodlines, but persistence turned their tools against them. From praying towns to language revivals, tribes outlasted every erasure attempt. History reflects this irony. What was meant to divide only forged stronger bonds. Subscribe to Native Legends and History Stories for more unflinching tales. Comment your thoughts below.